Welcome to the road to a milli, and I feel like we're getting closer. We're getting closer. Although it sometimes doesn't feel that way as we look at the data. We're closer today than we were 1 year ago, and I think if we are able to adjust our timelines, I think I I've had to adjust my timeline in order for me to um, stay positive and stay focused on finding solutions to get us closer to this $1 million mark. And yeah, I think I expected the first zero to 40, 0 to 6 to be very difficult, and it was. But I think I had an expectation that we were just going to go from 60 to 80 to 100 like way faster, and it's definitely not. And I think it really is because when we were in Bozeman for uh, so the so the growth of that business, we were at about $40,000 a month. And that business had been stuck there for about $40,000 a month for about 6 months. And we we had dinner with Alex and Layla in Vegas in September of 2022. And we were telling about this cleaning business, which at the time we'd only been in the business for 2 years. And we're telling them about the problems we were having with this business. And they quickly identified that our problem was that we simply didn't have enough cleaners. And so from September of 2022 to um, June of 2023, like we focused on one thing, and that was just bringing on cleaners. And Katie actually became the full-time recruiter, and that's all she did was she was hiring people. She was hiring people, trying to bring them in, trying to get us enough revenue producers so this business would grow. And so we went from $40,000, actually about $45,000 a month, to $100,000 a month in 9 months. And I was like, okay, I figured out the problem with this business. It's we just need cleaners. We just need cleaners. And so when we started Mesa, right from the beginning, we were all in on hiring cleaners. Like we were like we took like we started the recruiting funnel before we even started the client funnel. And from day one, we've been all in on cleaners. Well, over the last 3 months, we've been hovering around $60,000 a month. And it's not because we don't have the cleaners, it's we actually don't have the clients now. And so this has been a challenge. I would say unexpected from the first time that we grew it to a million is that we have a different constraint. Is that we just don't have enough clients every single week in order for us to do $19,000 a week for 4 weeks in a row, which would equate to $82,000 in a month. And so that's why like doing something once and doing it the second time are totally different. And doing it the third time will be different. And doing it a fourth time will be different. Like there's always like little nuances to every time you do something. It'll never be exactly the same. And so, but now Katie and I we have diagnosed that this is our constraint. Like if we'd actually just had more clients, this business would grow because we actually have the cleaners, we have the revenue producers. They're sitting there. Their hours are low, and they want high hours. And so, um, we decided that we need more. We need more, and really, what we need is we need more manpower. We need more. We need more attention on getting clients. And so, over the last couple of weeks, Katie and I were kind of looking around of like what do we have like what do we have that could potentially solve this problem. And I mean we didn't look very far, and we have a huge asset, and the problem is that that asset was just not in this business in Arizona. It was in our first location back in Montana. And we're like, okay, well, how do we utilize this asset, this human being, in a second location, in our second location? And the answer was to backfill her in the first location. So that way she had attention that she could put on the second location. And now we actually could get the benefit of actually having assets from one location actually help the second location, right? Which at this point, like that hasn't happened. We've been totally separate. And so about 6 weeks ago, we decided to bring in a second office person, another office person in Bozeman, actually a third office person in Bozeman. And then um, that person now has been full time for the thing. This is her third week, and she's been producing. She's actually been generating sales, and she's been helpful, right? Which is important, helpful. Um, and so that gave our 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 asset, Alaya, the opportunity to come into Mesa and be able to put her, put her energy, put her attention on growing this thing from 60 to 80, and then hopefully $100,000 a month. And so on Monday, we had our Mesa meeting, and we told our current office girls, Meg and Keziah, we told them that here's our plan: is that here's the constraint, it's sales, it's new clients, and the only way we see how we can solve this problem is by bringing in Elia, right? I think that like she's been consistent, and she has shown that like this is a problem that she has solved, and she solves very well. And so we told them that on Monday, and then on on Tuesday, she came into the group chats and started just asking questions, trying to get a feel for what's happening. Because even though we have our locations are both ran, they're both owned by Katie and I, they're actually ran very differently. And so the goal was to try to get on the same page, understanding how things are working, right? And so then on Tuesday, I look at every in-day report like I do every single day. And on Eli's report, her question was, so like, how do I come in? Do I just like come in and start doing things, or like what do I do? Right. And I did what I normally do is I ignored that question and I just wanted to see what was going to happen. And so Wednesday morning, um, maybe by fate, um, one of our office girls actually called out. She was sick. She was throwing up. She was dying, right? And all of a sudden, the answer to that question became very evident. And I think Elias saw it and was like, I know the answer to that question now. And and mind you, like I didn't even know that our office gal in Mesa that she called out until Katie told me like told me about it about around like 11 o'clock. I was like, oh, I didn't even know. I was like, so then, but as soon as I knew, I was like, oh, then I then I knew the answer to that question. So then, fast forward, fast forward to 5 o'clock on Wednesday. Now I checked the end of day reports, and I had just modified the end of day reports too because Elia was coming into Mesa, but she still had responsibilities in Bozeman. So I rearranged the report, but I realized that I did a terrible job. And as I was reading the report, I just like when I started reading it, I'm like, oh, I'm not understanding what this means. And so I slowed down. And at first, I was like, oh, she made 4 sales. Like, oh, that's pretty good on a first day. And then I realized that that was just conversions. I was like, oh. So then I started like going back up to the top. Like, I actually read from the bottom down. I don't know. I don't know if any of you guys do that as well, but like I just like skim, like I skimmed and I see like I'm looking for certain things, and so I skim and go to the bottom. So that's why like this report it was new, so I was like it threw me off. I saw 4 closes, and I was like, oh, I mean that's pretty good. I mean honestly, it'd be really good. And then I realized it was just conversions. I was like, huh? And then I started scrolling to the top a little bit, and then I started to see all these names, and I count them, and there's 16. There's 16 new closes. I was like, I just started laughing. I just started laughing. I'm just like, if it were anybody else, I wouldn't believe it. um, yeah, and altogether was 20 sales, and not only that, like, and then the fact was that because Keziah, who was the one who called out, she had Zoom interviews that's scheduled for that day, and so instead of Elia taking on the Zoom interviews, she actually had Megan, the other office girl. She coached her on how to take Zoom interviews, and mind you, like Megan was like, she didn't want to do it. She didn't want to do it. And because and then Eli was like, you got this. Got on a Zoom call with her, coached her through it, asked her if she wanted to do it. She said no. She's like, that's okay. You can do it anyway. And she did it. And those were just like a couple highlights from that day. Like there was many other things. But those were just a couple of the highlights from that day. And then the very next day, um, yeah, there was it just actually the very next day, crazy story. Um, So again, check the end reports, and then on the end report, Elias said something that like she um, had a had a had a call with somebody who was dying of cancer, and Kate and I were talking about it, and Katie made a comment that like just I'll never forget. She's like, if I was on my deathbed, like there was no other person who I'd want to talk to than Elia. And it was just like one of those moments where somebody has this game so figured out when they understand that the game is to help people and to serve people. And so, like, one of the reasons that Elia is so good at what she does is that she actually cares. And it's like, she actually just wants to help people so much. She's also confident enough to continue to search for solutions, even if she gets told no the first time. Because she just wants to help so much. And when I look at like someone like her, like my desire to be like that is very high. And to be able to have somebody around you, to have somebody who wants whose goals are aligned with yours is pretty special. And it's really fun. And that's what this life is about getting better. And you only get better when you put better people around you. And I told a version of the story on Thursday to the people who were in the Decade Day program. And then on Saturday morning, I got a message from somebody, and they were like, "I was so inspired by what Eli was able to do." She's like, "I closed 19 sales and made $8,000 in the last couple of days of the week because I just saw what was possible and I saw Eli do it." And like, that message got me like, because it was not like what I did, it's not what Katie did, but it's like someone on our team did to inspire them. Just like the degrees just keeps on like it gets away from me. It gets away from Katie. And I think that's the evidence that like what we're doing is working is when it's just not Katie and I who are inspiring, but Eli is inspiring. And then people inside the community are inspiring other people. Like that, that's how you make an impact. And Katie and I were talking about this. We Katie and I went to go get headshots yesterday. Went to JC Penney's. I don't know if you guys ever done this before, right? Went to JC Penney's and went to go get headshots. Um, and we got one funny one. We got one funny one. If you guys really want to see it, maybe I'll post it. It's I don't know if I can post it. I don't know if I can post it. But anyway, on the way to go getting our headshots, we were having this conversation. We were like, Katie and I were like talking through like why is Elia so good at sales when she doesn't even like use the script. She doesn't follow. She never had sales training before. Like why? And Katie, what did you say? what did you say? And then how did we frame it?
I don't remember the exact words I used, but Alaya has like a superpower of being able to keep people in the spotlight. So human connection is what allows you to build trust and rapport for somebody to want to buy your services. And it's really common. I use the example of my mom. Like my mom is the queen of being able to connect with people, but she likes to bring the spotlight off of the person she's talking to and put it on herself because that's how she relates through her own story. And Alaya does, she connects with people through keeping the spotlight on them, but also finding a connection in their story to her life. Great example. Last week, there was a super grumpy old guy who was just like giving her a hard time, and she's like, "How long have you been married?" And he's like, "What does this have anything to do with sales? Like with my house cleaning?" And she's like, "Well, like I'm looking to get married soon, and I just want to know how I can have a successful marriage." Totally changed the rapport of the conversation. The guy put his guard down, booked a clean, and like Alaya got to highlight him for being a good husband. She didn't say like she didn't turn the spotlight and put it onto her in her marriage. She got to allow the guy to elevate himself and keep the spotlight on him.
And the thing that I came back behind on that, and this is, I think this is the juice, guys. This is the juice behind that. Is the reason why Eli is able to keep the spotlight on them and not have to put it back on herself is because she doesn't need external validation. She's already confident in who she is, that she doesn't need somebody else to tell her that you're pretty, you're nice, you're smart. She already has it inside of her. And so Elia's confidence in herself and who she is allows her to keep the spotlight on others, where most people need to put it back on themselves to validate, to get validation. And so if you guys can just understand that right there, like that can be trained. If you're aware of it and you understand it, it can be trained. And when you guys are able to do that, like you can make a lot of people feel very good for a very long time. And like you can feel really good without getting any recognition, without getting any status, without getting any attaboys. So that being said, boys and girls, we're going to be talking about week number 53 of this road to $1 million of this cleaning location that we started. And yeah, and little little prequel of what our strategy is to just use the amazing talent that we have already on our team, and we're just going to put it on Mesa. Now, this is not a call for Bozeman, but in order to do that, we also have to have Bozeman still needs attention, and Alaya has an assistant, which is also her boyfriend. His name is BJ, um, who we think is a stud, and now he's going to have the opportunity to show what he can do because Eli's going to have more attention over here in Mesa, which somebody needs attention in our first location for it to continue to grow. And so by Alaya also being able to elevate, it gives opportunity for her assistant BJ in this instance an opportunity to also elevate his game as well. And so if you want the people around you to be successful, you be successful first. The more successful you are, the more opportunities come about, the more that you can give. But it starts with you being great first. And so let's talk about Mesa. I'm going to pull up the vision sheet here. You want to see it?
Yep.
Perfect. Okay, so this is the Mesa vision sheet from 3/8 to 3/14. So this is week number 53. I added a new line on here last week, This is called the trailing 12 months revenue. And so over the last 12 months, this business has done $498,000. So over the next couple of weeks, we'll continue to see this number go up and up because week number one, Katie, tell everybody what this business did in week number one. 53 weeks ago, what did it do?
$400.
$400. And this week, it did 15,000. So it's going to go up pretty fast over the next couple of weeks. Um, and here's the really cool part is that I did the math on this. So we talk a lot about building $1 million company. So Bozeman right now in the last trailing 12 months is at $1.3 million. And so I did a little bit of calculation. By June 1st, right around June 1st, as long as these businesses just continue on the trajectory that they're on, we'll be at a $2 million run rate. We'll have done $2 million. We'll have done, not a run rate, excuse me. We will have done $2 million in actual revenue, which is crazy. So, but we'll see. We got 12 weeks to figure it out. As far as projected monthly revenue for this month, it's at 59,000. This number is actually a bit higher. So I talk the good things about Elia, but she's a human being. Okay, everyone know Elia's human. Everyone's got problems. Elia's problem is that she doesn't like to put the service prices in. And so there's like 4 or 5 claims that didn't have money in there, which doesn't show up in this projected monthly revenue, but they got put in this weekend. So like I think we're actually sitting at like $61,000 or $62,000. But yes, Elia is human. She also makes mistakes.
We're at
Just
64.
we're at 64. Sorry. See, $5,000 of stuff that didn't get put in there. Should we just get rid of Elia? Should we just fire her for that? Like, come on, you didn't eat 20 sales, but you didn't put the service price in. Come on. Oh, and one time someone was like, you didn't put the arrival time in the notes. But again, like I'm saying this at a pure because I've been there. It's just like expect people to make mistakes. Like even the superstars, because you yourself have made mistake. Have you yourself made a mistake in life? Okay, then expect other people to make mistakes too. And so and by the way, like I have done this now. I really have never had someone like Elia on my team before, like with as much like talent and just like pure like good intentions before. However, I've had good people on my team before, and instead of building them up, I have brought them down by being like, well, yeah, you had made 20 sales, but like you forgot to put in like the service prices and like you forgot to put in the arrival times and like, do you think you can do that too? And you just like minimize like the crazy like 20 sales thing. Like, would you prefer to have those problems of like didn't put the service price in and the arrival time or making 0 sales? Then shut up. Right? Like praise the good things. Like, yes, I don't expect it to be perfect. And I think that everyone can learn from that because to some degree we're like, it's not good enough. It's not good enough. It's not good enough. It's not good enough. And how many of you guys have had a parent or have had someone in your life where you're just like, you really try your best and they're just like, well, you could do better. And you're like, yes, I can do better. Right. And like, I just don't think it's reinforcing what we want them to actually feel and do. Right. It's like, you did really good here. I really appreciate that. Right. And then leave it. And then if you have things to address it in a different situation. Right. Last 30 days revenue was 62,000. Next 30 days revenue is 54,000. Current monthly revenue, we're at 33,000 halfway through the month. So yeah, we're right on track. Weekly revenue is 15,000. And what's not on this sheet, which is something that we're looking at, is we're actually profitable right now. We're actually profitable. We're at about $3,500 in profit. So like, it's cool to see that for this business model that we teach and that we have people do inside our community. If you want to be operationally out of the business completely, you need to be at around $60,000 a month for it to like break even, right? And now above that, if you have the skill sets, if you have the patience to be able to grow it to $80,000, $100,000 a month, that's where you have both time profit where you're not being the one operating the business, but also money profit where you can make 10, 15, $20,000 a month in take home, right? And so it's there. It just takes patience and it takes skills to be able to get there, right? So last week we did 15,000, which was great because I think at the beginning of the week we had like 11,000. And so Alaya and the rest of the girls, they put on an additional $4,000 in revenue in about really probably like 3 days. Total recurring clients, we're at 160. We've definitely been hovering here. And so I talked about this last couple of weeks. We actually have been getting recurring clients. We've just been losing them. And so one of the biggest reasons that we've been losing them is because we've been losing cleaners. And as you guys see down below, we lost another, what we call a solid cleaner. And so over the last 3 weeks, I think we're up to like 9 cleaners now we've lost. And so we've had what we call the mass exodus has happened. This is the first mass exodus in Mesa, and it was also expected because all the people who left were the OGs, or the ones who are no longer getting the attention from the Logan and Katie's. We're like they're no longer part of like the little intimate settings anymore. Like this is more of a company now, and so the people who can't transition, they will go somewhere else, and they will go realize that the same problem they're facing here, they'll face in the next place too. And that's okay. It's totally fine. Because we keep on bringing new cleaners. And like the last couple of cleaners we brought on, like we really like them and they really want to be here and they're like excited to be here, which is fun. And I think I have like one rule just in life. And it goes for anybody. All the way from somebody who's like a stranger to all the way to my spouse. It's like, if you don't want to be here, then go. Like, go. Like, I'm good. Either way. But if you want to be here, I'm all here. I'm all in. Right. And so when you're able to just be okay with people making decisions and not caring which way they go, just tell them like I just want them to make a decision. Whichever way you go, just let me know. That way I can keep going whether you're here or you're not here. Just that's all I need to know. Right? And there's a lot of empowerment in that. There's a lot of belief in knowing that when one person leaves, that gives the opportunity for the next person to come in. So we've been talking a lot about Alaya lately. So Katie and I had this conversation. Katie, how many office staff people have we hired to find the Alaya?
Oh, I told this to Eli last week too, and we did the babysitters as well and nannies, and I can't remember. It's either 8 or 11.
Yeah, I think it's 8. I think it was 8. I think it was 11 nannies that
Okay.
we found. Yeah. So side side subject. We also have a really freaking kick-ass nanny, like freaking stud. Like just some of you guys have an opportunity to meet her. Like girl's a freaking stud. Like just amazing human being. Also just a really good human as well. And for the people on here who've ever tried to hire nannies or babysitters, like we went through 11 full-time nannies, like full-time. Like we've had like little like things in between, but like full-time people who we hired. And it took us 11 people to find our nanny. And then with office people, eight, 8 people, right? It took us 8 people to find Alaya. Um, it's just like the, this was, this was a saying that it was in college. One of my college friends used to say this, and he meant it with finding a spouse, but he's like you got to slay some dragons to get your princess. I just remember him saying that, and his wife that he ended up getting was a princess. Like she was like very smart, very beautiful. I was like, dude, he was not that good looking, but like somehow he got her. Like, yeah, you definitely had to slay a lot of dragons to get her. Like, great job. So like that's just something that always like let's like my mind, and now applying that to nannies, like you got to slay some dragons to get your princess, right? That's just the nanny situation. Then you got to slay some dragons to get your princess. Now that's just the office staff situation, right? And so it's always quantity first, and then from the quantity, you get quality. Um, Weekly cleans. So we had 63 weekly cleans. Revenue per clean was 243. So that's actually a pretty big number. That's cool to see. That's one of our bigger numbers that we've seen. Number of cleaners, as you guys can see here, 4 weeks ago we were at 17, then 15, then 15, now 12. right? We keep we keep dropping, but the cleaner hours, 19, 21, 20, 26, they keep going up.
Oh yeah.
And so, yeah, we've been very fortunate that even though we've lost cleaners, we've been able to continue to actually grow the revenues. As you guys can see at the top, last we did 15,000 this week. We had almost 18,000 week before, 15,000 week before that. So we've been able to continually still grow even despite losing cleaners. And that's because we just keep hiring cleaners. Like we don't stop. We won't stop. Um, and we had 288 assigned cleaning hours. So as far as our build revenue, again, this month we billed almost 33,000. This week we billed 15,000. And the breakdown of that initial clean revenue versus reoccurring revenue, we had $6,000 of initial clean, which was first time cleans. And then we had $8,909 of reoccurring slash occasional clients. Okay. And so this weekend, Katie and I did we did quarterly planning. We did quarterly planning for both our Mesa location and our Bozeman location. For anybody who's in advisor or who's in one-on-one coaching, we're gonna do quarterly planning this week. So you guys all get to be part of that. We'll do that on Friday. We'll walk through that same process that Kate and I did this weekend. But one of the things that we discovered was that this initial clean revenue was actually really important for us to be able to track to see if we're actually for us to be able to hit that $19,000 a week goal every single week. Right now, it's going to take a lot of initial clean revenue because our recurring revenue is around $9,000 to $10,000, which means if we want to hit $19,000 a week, that means we got to sell $10,000 a week, $11,000 a week in order for us to hit that number. Which, by the way, is possible. It's hard, but it's possible. And so we started paying attention to this number. And when we have our Mesa Vision meeting, we'll talk about what exactly we need to focus on so that that way we can hit the goal in the short term, but also how to make that goal be to increase probability we can hit it consistently by increasing the recurring client revenue behind it as well. Outstanding invoices. We have $5,000 that has not been collected for all appointments that have happened in less than 7 days. And then we have 841 for appointments that have happened more than 7 days ago. Discounts, we have our Mr. Mark Shanley. He's our military discount. And then outside of that, we actually didn't give away a ton of discounts last week. Doesn't look like anyway. So $150. It's not too shabby. And then, so here's the juice, guys. So I think the next question is, well, how did we have somebody like Elia come in and in one day make 16 new sales and 4 conversions? So here's the strategy behind that is that we actually used our internal marketing list and we sent an offer. But please pay attention because this is the part that most people miss. And you can do what you believe is the system, but if you don't follow this step, you will not be able to replicate the results. So here's one message that we sent. Hey, we're running a special deal for 5 people. Text me back if you're interested and I'll get you the info. Okay. And then we send this deal. Hey, we're having a flash sale for this week. Text me back if you're interested and I'll get you the info. Talk soon. And then on 3/14, we said, hey, we just hit our 1-year mark as a company. We owe it to all our amazing clients as a big thank you. Have a special day for you. Text me back year to claim your spot. We'll make your dreams come to reality. Boom. So we end up sending 3 messages. Okay. But what ended up happening was when Elia did this, I think this was her message right here on 3/14. No, it must have been 3/11. Somewhere in here. One of these messages. As soon as somebody texted back, what do you guys think she did? Do you think that she texted them back? If you're going to make 16 sales in a day, are you going to text people all day long? Or do you think that she just called them and said, hey, you were the first one. Congratulations. You got in just in time. They're like, really? Like, yes. Amazing. And then boom, now we're on a phone call. And now we're asking them questions. And now we're trying to figure out who they are, what they want. We're trying to connect with them. And then we're going to find a solution to their problem. And that's how you're able to increase the probability that people say yes is number one, get them on a freaking phone call, be excited to talk to them, ask them questions, connect with them, and keep the spotlight on them and also solve their problem. All those things. You're like, that sounds like a lot. Yeah, it is. And that's okay. But now you know what it takes. And that's what it takes. And so this internal marketing, like that's how you use the list. It's just to re-engage the lead. And then as soon as they say they're interested, you call them. You pick up the phone and you just want to speak to them. And you're like, hey, Katie, long time no chat. How are you doing? Like, who is this? You're like, this is Logan with Mesa 5-Star Cleaning. You just said that you're interested in our deal. We're running for 5 special people, and you're one of the first people to answer today. Congratulations. Like, yes, you sound crazy. You're like, I am. I'm so crazy, and that's why I'm such a good cleaner. That's why cleaning is so good, because we go crazy inside your house, and then when we leave, it feels peaceful. Like, okay, you guys sound like you know what you're doing. Yes. Tell me, like, tell me about your home. Like, tell me, please. I want to know. Tell me how I can help you. And they start talking, and they're like, oh my God, you have a dog? What's your dog's name? Oh my God. You're doing this for your mom? You're doing this for your spouse? Like, oh, you're so nice. You're so nice. You actually care. And you listen. And you want to help them. And you know what? That lady that I talked about earlier, that was on her deathbed, and she's literally dying. And again, I didn't tell this part of the story, but like she told lies, she's afraid to die. Like she's a, right? And so, like, do you guys think that Elia made her pay for that clean? Like she just served her. She's like, lady, you're not paying for this clean. We're gonna help you out today. And therein lies the conviction of like, I don't need to do this for money. The less you need money, the more things you can do. And the reality is like every single person on here, you have access to the internet, you live in North America, like your basic necessities, like for most of you guys are like they're taken care of. Like so like your desire for money is just in your head. And the more that you can understand that, like you're like you're good, you come to a place from abundance, you can just give. You can give and you give and you give. Just help a lot of people. And the more people you help, like the more people you help, the more valuable you become. And the more valuable you are, the more money that just gets thrown your way. And when you become really valuable, like you just realize that money is the tool to be able to help more people. It's not to help yourself solve your own personal, like it's to solve your personal needs, sure. But like money becomes like the desire for money becomes good when your desire to help becomes bigger than it is to solve your personal problems. But the problem is that most people never had money to be able to experience that. And so that's where sometimes you just have to trust. You just have to believe. You have to look at the people who you look at and you're like, I remember thinking this for a long time. Like a lot of the people who I used to look up to, who were successful. I just was so confused why they kept trying, why they kept going, why they kept making more money. I just never understood it. And it's because I didn't ever have money. I never understood it. And so it took me having to just like go through the process, learn it, experience it, not have it to realize that like money is just a tool. And like you don't feel any better with 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 a lot more money. Now, you feel better when you have no money and you have some money. Definitely feel better. But like as you keep on getting more and more money, like it doesn't necessarily feel better, but what it does, it almost creates a burden because like now you have a responsibility. And so the responsibility, you can either use in two ways. You can use it to help people or you can use it as a way to just like cash out and be like, all right, I'm good, and you can hoard. And that's how you get the people who like the old what is the movie, Katie, where the Christmas the Christmas movie where the guy doesn't like Christmas? What is that? Ebenezer Scrooge.
Yeah. Or the
So
Grinch.
or the Grinch, yeah, Scrooge. So so the Scrooge is like a story of an old rich guy who just like hoarding everything, right? Like doesn't want to give, like doesn't want to give presents, doesn't want to give anything, right? It's like the scarcity mindset. And so the less like like the less we want to give, the more we want to conserve, then it just makes us go like this, right? And that's why when some of you guys have like seen other business owners are like, I don't want to give a refund. Like, I can't believe this person wants me to give a refund, right? Like, I did the work. I can't believe they're not going to pay me. Or like, I would never give away a free service. I would never do anything for free. It's like that type of mentality is going to keep you scared. It's going to keep you thinking small. Definitely going to keep you from growing. It's going to keep you from being able to experience what a lot of money actually feels like. Because the only way you get a lot of money is if you help a lot of people, or you become really, really valuable to just maybe a selected number of people. Like really, just like you got to become really, you either become really valuable to a few people, or you got to become valuable to a lot of people. Either way, because the only people who like the people, the money that you want to get, it comes from a person. It comes from people. That's it. Like money only comes from people. So when you understand that, like you have to be valuable to those people or to a person, or really valuable to a person, as an example. Like, but it's all about value. Okay, so let's get into some marketing. So last week we turned it up, and I don't know if this was on purpose, but it happened. So we're gonna keep it going. We spent $1,300 on Google Local Services, and we spent $1,500 on Facebook. So we spent almost 3 grand on marketing last week. Crazy. We got 47 leads. We got 17 Google Local Service leads, 6 missed calls, 11 homepage leads. Awesome. 15 incoming call leads. Awesome. We had 97 leads at $30 a lead, which is definitely the highest that we've ever had. I think a lot of that's from the Google Local Services. So for the last 3 weeks, we have not had Google Local Services because our Google listing was actually shut down. And then last week, I got Google Local Services back up and it just started pouring. I don't know what happened. It just started pouring in. And so we got 17 leads at $77. So obviously, that lead cost isn't great, but we converted a lot of them. So that is good. We only had 7 spots unfilled last week. We have 34 spots open this week. And then last week we had Megan Kazai and Alaya all in the office. We had 664 phone calls between all of us. Crazy. Look at that. 83 incoming calls answered. A lot of those were Google LSAs. Crazy. Only 18 calls missed. 27 scheduled quote calls, 16 showed. Holy shit. I haven't seen this number yet. We performed 74 quotes. They created 58 opportunities. That number is crazy.
Oh my God.
And we closed 47 people. Insane. $12,000 of projected quote call revenue. Wild, 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 wild. And we ended up converting 8 people. So that number is also cool as well. So we had 8 conversions, 1191. So crazy sales numbers. 47 closes in a week. I think that's a PR. Yeah, number is crazy, 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 crazy. And that was, yeah, crazy. That was crazy. So cleans, last week we had 18 cleans, 45, or excuse me, we had 63 cleans, 18 were new, 45 were recurring. We had no correction cleans last week. That's actually kind of crazy. 160 recurring clients, 98 occasional clients. I like to see that number grow. And last week was our first week that we had Google reviews back. And we got 16 in the first week they got back. So we're up to 420. This is funny. Katie and I are like, okay, now that we see how much money is associated with Google reviews, we're like, oh, we're not as excited about them anymore, but the cleaners are excited about it, and it shows because they just won't stop. Um, so we didn't have Google reviews for 3 weeks, and in the first week they 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 came back hot. It's almost like they never stopped. Canceled recurring clients. So look at this. We brought in 8, but we lost 8. I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. So this is a number that we started tracking how much of that money, like what's the difference between money in versus money out. And so although we basically netted the same, we actually lost $2,000 and we gained 1,100. So actually we're net minus $1,000. So and you can see here like all these cleans are just monthlies. And so this is also something that I'm going to bring up at our team meeting. Like why just monthlies? Like why aren't we pushing for some more biweeklies? Just to see. Because really at the end of the day, it's like not even about how much recurring clients we have, but like what is the recurring client revenue? That's what actually is going to help us hit our goals is the revenue associated with those clients. So like not all recurring clients are equal. A client who pays 171 for the month versus a recurring client who pays 340 4 times a week, like those are different people. Those are much different. And so we're starting to shift our attention to what is the actual revenue associated with the recurring clients. Canceled claims during the week, we had about $1,900 in canceled claims during the week. So it looks like we charged Linda Didi and Emily Iverson for the last minute cancellation fee. Cleaner acquisition. Yep, we're hiring cleaners. We spent $216 on Indeed. We had 18 applicants, 12 phone interviews scheduled, 11 performed, 8 Zoom interviews scheduled, 6 performed, and we hired one. We have 3 people who are currently in training. So this isn't right, actually. Right, Katie? Cheryl should be on here.
And Sierra's graduated.
And Sierra, yep, and Sierra's graduated. Okay, cool. So Michaela and Trinity started on Friday. They got on board on Friday, and we have another girl named Cheryl who made it through her first week and is actually doing really well. So, and then Sierra did graduate. And Sierra, how many reviews did Sierra get in her first week of?
6.
Yeah, so she's doing really
She's
good.
a stud. We actually, so this is a cool story. Sierra was coached by one of our cleaners at a donut shop. So one of our cleaners went one morning to pick up donuts for the team meeting, just to surprise everybody. And the girl behind the desk was like really nice, really friendly, smiled, greeted her with a smile, like had star values that our cleaner who was buying donuts for the rest of the team saw. And she's like, "You looking for like a new job? Because we got an awesome team. Why don't you come over to our team and join our team?" And 3 weeks later, she was on our team and she's up and running and she got 6 freaking reviews in her first solo week.
Yeah,
Like she's a stud.
yeah, awesome to see. Awesome to see. So again, like if we only focus on the people leaving, like the Asias, and we disappointed. But if we're like, that just gives an opportunity for the Sierras, the Cheryls, the Michaelas, the Trinities to come in and like show what they got. Like that's what it's about. And again, I said this, well, again, not for you guys, but again for Alaya, because on our vision meeting on last Tuesday, we talked about hiring. And I was like, there's 2 types of mistakes you can make when hiring. You can hire somebody and they don't work out. A second mistake is you can not hire somebody and they would have been a superstar. I will make I will choose the first mistake every single time before I do not hire somebody that could be a superstar. And so understanding that like every time we hire, like we have an opportunity for somebody to like wow you and impress you. Just the same way that Elia did for us a couple years ago. And like you'll miss out on your Elia if you don't always have that hiring funnel on, if you're not always looking for great people. Right. And so I think that's the part to understand is like what you do today was going to impact you over the next year, next 2 years of your life. Like you just need great people. Cleaner fulfillment, we have our cleaners got some good hours last week. So you can see here Alyssa got 33, Tiffany got 36, Emma was actually sick all week, so she only got 11, Sadie got 31, Nikki 32, Ashley is that number right? Was Ashley sick or was
Yeah, she had car problems.
oh she had car problems? Christy 27, Haley 28, Sierra 32 in her first week, right? Which is crazy to see. And then um yeah, so those are all great numbers. So 26.2. And again, if we would have took out Ashley, that probably would have been closer to 30. So and $53 a man hour. That number is also great to see. No correction claims, which is surprising. And then one-on-ones, we had one-on-ones. Actually think we had 3 one-on-ones because Megan had a one-on-one with Nikki as well. So we had Sadie, Tiffany, and then actually we had Nikki did a one-on-one, or Megan did a one-on-one with Nikki. And so we actually have Nikki as a trainer now. So Nikki, again, when the top cleaners left, we needed another trainer. We had 2 trainers who left, so then Nikki got the opportunity to be a trainer. And like again, she was outside of our top cleaners, and now she's a trainer. So she stepped up her game. And Sadie also is going to get the opportunity to train as well. So again, one of the benefits of having people who've been on your team for a long time leave is that it gives the next people an opportunity for them to be able to take on new responsibility. And you as a leader, you have an opportunity to now position it as an opportunity and do a better job so that way you create less entitlement and more empowerment, right? And um, Yeah, it's just like always finding the good in all situations. And that's, I think that is one of the things that I look at for whether I like, if I do give a probability of success and I meet somebody, like how they talk about their problems is going to be where I'm going to say they either have an increase the probability of being successful or decrease the probability because like life, business, relationships, it's all problems. It's all problems. And the difference is like, do you see, do you spend days and weeks complaining about it before you find solutions? Or do you look for solutions right away? If we have the two drastic examples, and most people are somewhere in the middle. And so what I've discovered for me is the quicker that I can get into solution mode, the less anxious, the less worry, the less negative emotions I feel means the less time I'm paralyzed, which means the less time that nothing happens, which means the less time I'm going to stay in the same exact state. The quicker that I can get into solution mode, the closer I can get to finding a plan based on the limited information I have that we can start taking action. And then as we take action, we get feedback. And from that feedback, I can tell how close or how far away we are from solving the problem. And so the quicker that we can get into solution mode, the quicker we can just start taking action and getting told no. No, no, no. Oh, maybe, maybe. Sure, sure. Okay, fine. Yes, yes. Oh, hell yeah. Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah, let's go. Like, whoop. Those are the stages. To no, to hell yeah. The only way you get there is by being told no over and over again. So, crazy week. Week number 53. This week, um, I'll be very curious to see what happens. Again, last week, a lot came and happened through the week. This week we'll have a first full week, and yeah, we'll start to get a better idea of if we can solve this problem. And it really is just bringing in new clients to be able to fill schedules. And as we look at this number right here, like this recurring client revenue, like it doesn't go up quick in a sense that like it'll take a month or 2 months for you to start to see like the progress from it. But this number, it can happen today. Like this is today money. We can move the initial clean revenue from 6,000 to 7,000, 8,000, 9,000, 10,000, and we can increase those revenues while at the same time opening up the pool of people who we then can turn into recurring clients at the same time. All right, Katie, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think my first thought is just I learned so much from Alaya last week. It's funny when like you are a business owner, sometimes you think that you can only learn from people who are ahead of you, quote unquote. And I just got like really curious with Alaya last week, and she also taught me to stay curious in these moments and also go into solution mode. Exactly what Logan just said. I caught myself in a frustrated state of mind, being like, how do I was complaining to Alaya of all people about Mesa's performance and watching Alaya just come in and just take freakish quick action and then highlight the girls for what they did well during the day that she wants to see more of versus only pointing out problems was unreal. Like I just got slapped in the face with amazing advice and amazing action and a very valuable lesson. It was super cool to see.
Yeah, crazy, And then this is the thing I'll leave it on, and then yeah, then everybody who's in advisor, I got an announcement for you guys in the next call, so make sure you guys get on that call. But so a question that I get asked quite frequently is like, how do I get someone to just like want to like run the company? Like they basically see a lie in what she does for Bozeman. They're like, how do I get that? Like, how do I get someone to do that? And the answer is you don't. You don't get someone to do anything. You just facilitate an environment where they believe that they have the autonomy to make decisions. And a lot of that comes from the same thing that Elia asked on Tuesday before this all happened is like, what should I do? Should I just come in or what should I do? And we just create an environment of like, you can figure it out by just not responding. And the irony was, if I would have responded, like everything would have changed 2 seconds later, right? Because I had called out. So like the whole answer might have changed based on like by the time Wednesday came around, 12 hours later, it's like the total environment that she was coming into totally changed. And so like that's why that's why just like providing an environment where it's okay to make mistakes, it's okay to try, it's okay to just like just go, like just help people. Like we're like that's where the values come into play. That's why we have the STAR values: serve, teamwork, accountability, reliable. Instead of having a culture of rules, we have a culture of values. And a lot of that just comes from very similar to what Katie said that like was a superpower and a lie was that like I don't need that like when you don't need validation from outside when the outside world, like that inner confidence comes from internally. If you run your business the same way, it's very difficult, by the way. Not saying it's easy, but when you run your business without needing external validation of money, needing the validation of like people saying you're doing a good job, like you can just like be okay with people making decisions and what people do and their actions and outcomes, and then just take what happens, learn from it by asking questions, just like Katie said. Get curious, ask the people on your team. Curious what you meant by that. Like, how did you like? Tell me your thoughts. And the more that you get understand how someone thinks, and if you also have the context on their goals, and then you're able to say, hey, if you were running this company, if you were doing this, how would you have handled that situation? And you do it not in a reactive situation, but in a proactive situation, a coaching moment. Now you get to teach somebody how to run a company. And a lot of that just comes from you being okay with like a mistake today, not being perfect, not being right, not not scraping out every single dollar. So appreciate you guys for showing up today. Thank you guys seriously so much for showing up. Oh, I do have some announcements for everybody on here, every single person on here. We're doing masterclass how to build a $1 million cleaning business that profits $200,000 a year. Masterclass. It's for free tomorrow. 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 I'm super excited for it. If you want to understand the the recipe of how to get strangers to raise their hand for cleaning services and how to get those strangers to give you their credit cards over the phone, and then how to turn those initial cleans into recurring clients that create the profit in your business, and how to attract reliable, hardworking cleaners who are going to go fulfill those cleans, get on the masterclass release tomorrow. And you're going to see not only how Katie and I and Eli have done this, but also how the people inside the community have done this as well. And in fact, because I'm a numbers guy, as you guys have seen, I counted it. Out of the people that Katie and I have coached just in last year, because we started coaching last year, we've helped 12 cleaning businesses increase their revenue by at least $100,000. $100,000. If you guys like a little bit of math, that's over $10,000 a week or a month. 12 people, and some people were more, but $100,000 was the lowest. Okay, so let me share with you that recipe. Let me show you how it's done. And if you're already inside the community, well, you get to see your fellow people to continue to stay inspired. The same way that when I got a message this weekend from a cleaning business owner who's like, dude, that message was so inspiring and like inspired me to go do work. Like, go see the people who are just like you inside the same community you're in, go do cool things. Right. And if you're not inside the community, well, then go get on that call so you can understand why would people actually give money for coaching? Like, would you, if someone were to ask you for $10,000 and you got $100,000 back every single year for the rest of your life, would you make that investment? And that's why everybody else does too. So appreciate you guys so much for showing up today. We'll be back on this call next Monday. If you guys are not to the community, go check out go get on the masterclass live call tomorrow. I'll be sending the link via email, so everyone here is on the email list. If you're not on the email list, then just message me or message Katie. If you're inside the community, it'll be inside the community calendar, and go get on that call tomorrow. For everybody else who's inside advisor one-on-one coaching, go get on that call right now because I got an announcement for you guys right now. Katie, thanks for hopping on here. Elia, appreciate you so much. Everybody else, thank you guys for showing up today. Happy freaking Monday, and go use today and go grow your businesses, friends. Let's go. All right, bye.
Bye-bye.